and WCCO Radio are very proud to welcome the new WCCO, Channel 4 WCCO-TV.
Channel 4, Minneapolis and St. Paul.
It's been my life. It's been a big part of my life.
I didn't have any idea we had so much fun.
I learned about myself, I learned about the business, I learned about people.
WCCO just led the way.
WCCO-TV.
Satellite.
Hello, I'm Don Shelby. For more than 50 years, WCCO-TV has been at the heart of television history here in Minnesota. For 5 decades, this station has broadcast historic milestones, shared treasured, sometimes tragic moments with viewers, and created lasting memories for young and old alike. For those who grew up with the likes of Axel and Willie or Clancy the Cop, it is not hard to chuckle when thinking about the characters and the joy they brought to thousands of children. And it's sobering to think about the many triumphs and tragedies to which our cameras have borne witness. Today, WCCO is an indelible thread laced throughout the fabric of our community quilt. So tonight, as part of our golden anniversary, we'd like to reminisce a bit, to take stock of where we've been and to tip our hat to all of the people who helped us get here. But this is more than a the way we were story. We'll also show you how we've changed and where we think we're headed. We think you'll agree the future is as bright as it is unknown. From technical standards to ownership, WCCO has changed tremendously since 1949 when a handful of Minnesota radio pioneers decided to bet the farm on an unproven new medium. Over time, they and those who followed showed it to be a lot more than radio with pictures, and its potential far beyond the image of a boob tube. The 1950s are often tagged as the golden age of television. Everything was new and untested. Tryouts of new shows with transplanted radio personalities were happening at a rapid clip. Network executives and program producers were throwing almost anything at the screen to see what would stick with the viewers.
We hope that this will make you so hungry you will dash out into the kitchen, look up your favorite canning recipe.
The explosive growth was no different at the local level. But unlike today, in which would-be syndicators compete for their share of the crowded programming dial, TV at first was a medium in search of a mission. In trying to find its place, there were a lot of, shall we say, experiments. But the one constant was that it was all performed live. There wasn't the luxury of videotape or the budget for large amounts of film. Those came later, of course. But those first years were a crucible of creativity. It made for plenty of unforgettable moments and served as a proving ground for CCO's long-standing reputation for quality programming. Amelia Santinello takes us on a sentimental journey.
Calling all kids, be on the lookout for fun and adventure, thrills and chills.
From kids stuff to more serious stuff.
For nearly 2 months, the I-Team followed bookies and their associates to learn more about how they operate.
WCCO has provided some of the most diverse, entertaining, and important local programming the Twin Cities has ever seen and will continue to see.
Sunrise on the Serengeti.
It was an involvement within the community which I think is still responsible for the stature that WCCO has within the community.
In the beginning, our station had a homespun look to it. Production was simple, yet viewers loved the personalities that came through the tube each day.
Hi, kids. This is Axel.
Oh, boy, I'm going to have fun today. Because
Amid the myriad of kids' shows, Axel's Treehouse was king of the hill. Clellan Card played Axel. When Card was diagnosed with terminal cancer, the producers brought in Carmen the nurse, played by Mary Davies, to ease the transition for the kids.
The last show that he ever did, he was walking out of the studio, and I was just like a little kid myself. What am I going to do? And I said, Clellan, what should I tell the children? He said, tell them I've gone around the world. So I did.
The cast of characters continued for years.
Oh, that Uncle Cactus. Say, you know what Uncle Cactus should have had was some delicious strawberry-flavored Quick.
This bozo went on to WCCO radio fame. Under that clown costume, Roger Erickson. Other kids' favorites included Commodore Cappy, who became Clancy the Keystone Cop, and then Modern Clancy, starring the versatile John Gallus with Alan Lotsberg as Willie Ketchum.
You know, he's not exactly a James Bond type, but he's the best little assistant detective you'll find around Minneapolis and St. Paul, I'll tell you that. My own little Willie Ketchum. Oh, Willie!
That family, that love of working together, and there's a synergism that comes with when everybody's doing it for the same reason, and that was there then. It was a playground for adults.
Now here is your host, John Gallus.
Welcome to Sunday Morning.
John Gallus's career spanned 46 years at CCO, which included the longest-running local religious show in the country.
I tried to look for things that united us, no matter what our religions were.
Good morning, everyone. Next is World of Aviation.
Another longtime CCO fixture was the World of Aviation with Sherm Bone, on the air through the 50s, 60s, and 70s. The secret to his longevity?
Probably one of the reasons that it was successful because it was so short.
The program ran 15 minutes once a week.
So that's the story of baggage, North Central Airlines at Twin City International Airport.
Hi, I'm Marlo Bendow.
And I'm Steve Doyle. Welcome to the premiere show of TM Magazine.
Our locally produced shows matured with the industry. For 6 years, starting in 1979, PM Magazine was a staple, appealing to the yuppie in all of us.
From the surf-drenched North Shore of Oahu to the placid beauty of Kauai.
PM Magazine's host, Steve Doyle, Marlo Bendow, and later Pat Brown got involved in each and every one of the 1,500 shows.
It gave people sort of a lift at the end of the newscast to talk about, oh, let's go to this great restaurant, or there's a real fun movie that's out. And it was the first step into entertaining people in sort of an informative way.
Appropriately, on a day like today, we have two weathermen in our one float.
Our viewers have always loved a parade. Over the decades, WCCO has broadcast the Winter Carnival Parade, the Aquatennial Parade.
Boy, do they know how to make a sound.
And, of course, the Holidazzle Parade.
I think that's the funniest parade float I've ever seen in my life.
WCCO and the Minnesota Orchestra have made beautiful music since the mid-'70s, when our station first broadcast Zomerfest in stereo.
Good evening. Welcome to In the Public Interest.
There were many times when WCCO had to face the music itself, such as this town meeting critiquing the way we did news back in the 80s.
Good evening.
And our news staff, led by Dave Moore, branched out into prime time. There was more on Tuesday, more on Sunday, and more, and more.
I think that to this day and going forward that the community looks to WCCO television. They know that they'll cover the big story. They'll know when they want to know really what's going on with an issue, that there'll be an I-team, there'll be a dimension, there'll be a special program. And people know that they can trust that and they can count on it.
The station also devoted primetime hours to investigative documentaries called the I-Team.
Steve Fossum, now 25, has spent the last 2 years of his life in this penitentiary near Palestine, Texas.
Among the most memorable accomplishments, the I-Team helped release a Minnesota man imprisoned in Texas falsely accused of rape.
It became a paragon of high journalistic standards, of sometimes breathtaking journalism, breathtaking writing, certainly, on the part of Al Austin. And it was just a great time to be in the business.
And fast forward to recent years, WCCO is carrying on the tradition of community service with station-wide projects.
The month-long Project Lifesaver campaign actually got started this afternoon.
From convincing the hometown public to buckle up, to a 2-hour documentary and town meeting on how to help troubled kids in our community with broken promise.
We have an extended family, so when I get in trouble, I have to deal with my elders, I have to deal with my uncles, and I have to deal with my father.
Whether our local programming is for children or about them, entertaining adults or informing them, WCCO is proud to serve the public for the last 50 years and into the future. I'm Amelia Santinello.
Thanks, Amelia. We caught up with a few familiar faces, both old and new, at a 50th anniversary celebration this June. We asked them what stands out in their memories of WCCO television, and here's what they told us.
We see somebody and we replay an episode with them and say, okay, that's a take, keep it. And then we see somebody else, oh, let's roll the tape. Yeah, I remember that was very good. Yeah, when your pants fell down on camera, that's good. Yeah, and then that's a take. My life is in such little segments of this happened here, and this was fun, and this was a tragedy, but most of it was just fun. So it's to see these people, it's replaying the old movies.
The whole station was a warm fuzzy. Everybody was supportive and gracious and good.
Saying that it was a great, happy family is trite, but the things that become trite are trite because originally they were true. And it was a great place to work, and the people were wonderful.
TV was so successful and so entertaining and so exciting in the early days, and you could feel the viewers had that excitement about television.
And I said, where's the script? And they looked at each other and said, script? You make it up. I said, I gotta go now. So, you make it up? And so we did.
He does a birdie with the yellow bills.
Hopped up on my windowsill.
Talked to Shining Eye and says, how do you like your bathwater, Luke? Warm? Hey, all right.
We still got it, John.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
This is home.
Are you ready to hit the road?
Ever wish the world were more solid under your feet?
When the going gets tough, is a driver's seat the only seat for you?
Are you ready for something you've always wanted?
Then get to the Pontiac Hit the Road Summer Sell Down for 0% APR financing or $1,000 cash back on any solid 99 Grand Am.
Hit the road for Pontiac driving excitement.
See your dealer today.
What are you waiting for?
Make some time for Dayton's 13-hour sale. Even if you can't take your time. Dayton's 13-hour sale. In step with life. Your life. Start Saturday, end Saturday.
My parents are way into nutrition. They're always making us eat healthy. But when we go to Old Country Buffet, I get what I want. I mean, come on, I'm a kid. I want stuff like chicken or ham or spaghetti. I like mashed potatoes and corn, not healthy stuff.
At Old Country Buffet, you can't help but eat healthy.
Boy, if it wasn't for this place, I'd never get a decent meal. Mom? What's wrong?
Oh, honey, it's this client. I'm worried he didn't get his package.
Why don't you find out?
I wish it was that easy.
No problem.
RPS delivers the industry's highest on-time service. But for added peace of mind, we offer up-to-date shipment information via the internet.
Mr. Michael's got his package Thursday afternoon.
See, Mom? It was easy.
RPS, delivering more than your package.
And lastly, I request that my ashes ascend the Eagle Peak hiking trail one last glorious time, so that I may join with eternity in a moment of quiet reflection.
Uncle Carl.
Hurry in for the best deals all year on the few remaining 99 Sportages in stock.
Among the
very young at heart.
Imagine lugging this old boat anchor around. It's one of the very first live field cameras ever used by WCCO back in the early 70s. Believe it or not, this portable camera was a huge improvement from its even heavier film cousins of the era. By today's standards, it's just plain huge. Gathering the news has always been a stressful and physically demanding task, with all of the gear necessary to bring pictures and sound to your screen by time certain each day. Reporters and photographers still haul their video equipment into the field along with lights and tripods, but the days of carrying a 1,000-pound pencil to report the news is over. Now we have cameras the size of a coin that do what these giants did and more. We've kept pace with the rapid change in technology, but something that hasn't changed is our commitment to craft. In the 5 decades we've been bringing you the news, we've aired about 50,000 newscasts, give or take, and we won scores of national and regional awards. CCO is also known as a farm club, and for good reason. Some of the biggest names in the business cut their teeth here. The Newsroom has been a career launching pad for many a veteran news correspondent. Check this list out. Jerry Bowen, Phil Jones, Don Cladstrup, Bob McNamara, Barry Peterson, Susan Spencer. There was also the late Bill Stewart of ABC and Susan Peterson, formerly with NBC. The list of CCO alumni is long and distinguished. Networks and major market stations all across the country are peppered with anchors and reporters, producers, and photographers who hone their skills right here. And over the years, we've had a lot of mottos, too. Let's see. If you want to be the best, you've got to give more. My favorite. News for thinking people. And now, the hometown team. But while the faces, the gear, and the slogans may change over time, our promise of solid journalism has not. Alan Cox has our story.
As the Twin Cities awake and start another day, they'll start making news. We'll be there so that you may be there and witness for yourself the sight and the sound of the news as it happens.
News as it happens was a bold promise in 1959. 10 years before, Channel 4 didn't have a news department. Station vans would race to the airport and pick up newsreels shipped from New York, weather permitting. Then the station got a wire photo machine.
News around the world. And certainly Senator Taft is all smiles this noon. Quite a bit different, isn't it, than the Senator Taft of a few weeks back.
Well into the 70s, most local news on Channel 4 was shot with film gear. Bulky to carry, slow to process, expensive to shoot a lot of. That could be a problem with Minnesota's most loquacious newsmaker, Hubert Humphrey.
We'd make a deal when we say, okay, we're interested in milk prices. And he'd say, okay, when I point at you people, then that means start rolling the cameras. He'd point at us, we'd roll the cameras, we'd get our sound bites we want, and then he'd go on to other things. And we'd have ours, and we'd break down and get out of there.
It was a different time. Often at crime scenes, there were no police lines. When a child was trapped in a hole outside St. Paul, the camera moved up close. Eventually, electronic news gathering would bring viewers to the scene as news happened, or just before.
Get us on the air. Are we on? This is Barry Peterson reporting live from the Twin Cities International Airport. What you are seeing now is a stricken 747 landing at Twin Cities. It has 2 blown tires.
The plane landed safely. A few years later, Peterson would land a job at CBS News, one of a long line of WCCO reporters to Go Network, people like Bill Stewart and Don Cladstrup. Phil Jones came to CCO in 1962, took a pay cut, but decided it was worth it because CCO News was independent.
Our ownership and our management didn't care. As long as we were professional, they let us do our job. They let us grow.
Early on, the staff was not a model of gender and racial diversity, but Sam Ford would work here before CBS, and so did Susan Spencer, straight out of college, learning from her colleagues.
They taught a respect for the news, a respect for the audience, a respect for good writing, and in general, just a regard for how important news is to the community. That is not to say, however, that we took ourselves always very seriously.
I used to have to come in on Sunday mornings at about 7 o'clock and prepare the noon show. So when it was 30 below, I lived in Golden Valley and I didn't have a garage. So what I'd do was I would take a news car home and park it outside my apartment and let it run all night so that I'd be sure to have a ride in the morning. It was great.
The person who embodied the serious mission and the lighter side was Dave Moore. He took over the late news after radio star Cedric Adams decided he'd had enough of TV. Dave never got to that point. He handled the news and the commercials within it with aplomb.
The great Northwest. See how gently the nurse handles that baby? And you know, babies are covered from the moment of birth under Blue Cross Blue Shield family contracts.
This is The Scene Tonight, in color with
It
Dave
took 10 years and the debut of The Scene Tonight for Dave to reach #1 in the ratings. Late on Saturdays, he'd mix straight news with bits, like an account of a poor round of golf by the studio crew.
Now, what we're going to do is, unbeknownst to Mel, we're just full of surprises. We're going to go over and give Mel the shaft tonight.
And there was the night he ended the news celebrating the new studios.
Do we like it? You ask, do we like it? Are you kidding?
But while he cavorted, Dave worried about the serious part of the newscast. Sometimes he worried there wasn't a serious part.
I used to ask myself, would I watch that? If I were sitting home, would I watch that guy talking to that guy about the weather? I don't care that much about the weather.
The fight became harder. One time, news director Ron Handberg was ordered to kill a story about a protest of WCCO. He ran it anyway. Grounds for firing most places.
It really came down not only for me, but for the newsroom as an issue of great principle. And the newsroom was ready to fight as much as I was.
Handberg, the troublemaker, would become the general manager. The station continued winning national awards, a tradition dating back to a WCCO investigation of financial irregularities at the Sister Kenny Institute in 1960. In 1982, the I-Team reported on sex abuse of children.
It will stop when each adult truly believes he is the protector of every child.
Thousands and thousands of people lining Summit Avenue.
After the Gorbachev visit in 1990, the News Directors Association declared WCCO Station of the Year. In 1994, the I-Team found police off-duty when they were on duty. A 1997 Dimension report on a young woman's struggle with cancer.
Even as she played with her children, she was bothered by a nagging headache, wondering, as she always does when she feels a new ache or pain, is this more cancer? It is.
If history is a guide, compelling journalism doesn't change much. But the news set sure does. We've had sets with one anchor, sets with lots of anchors, anchors with lots of sets, anchors with no desks, bureau sets, election sets, satellite centers, information centers, sets that look like a place to buy a drink, sets that look like hot tubs, sets that spun like carousels. And in the future, maybe a news set in every house. Fiber cable could make it possible to go live almost everywhere there's a phone. With a faster internet and digital TV starting this fall, viewers may get a clearer choice.
Down the road, in years from now, WCCO may have several channels. I'd like to think that CCO could resemble a headline news kind of version, 24 hours, all news all the time. And then maybe there's another version where there's more entertainment programming interspersed with some traditional newscasts like that. So for the consumer out there, maybe there's a CCO more and then maybe a CCO less.
There used to be a time they could turn out the newsroom lights at the end of the day. Not anymore, and Channel 4's commitment to reporting news as it happens never goes out. I'm Alan Cox.
You know, the key to success in any form of journalism is simply the love of a good story. But the legacy and success of WCCO's newsroom is one story no others can touch. We'll be right back.
Come to our super weekend sale. Save 20 to 40% on all decorator prints, 40% on imported designer fabrics, plus McCall's patterns are just $1.99 at all Hancock fabric stores.
Kohl's anniversary sale is going on now, and we're celebrating with great savings throughout the store. Save on all denim for the family. Save on women's coordinates. Save on all kids' name brand and character playwear. Save on all dress and casual shoes for the family. Save on all kitchen electrics. And get bonus buys through Monday. Kohl's store-wide anniversary sale only happens once a year and is going on now. Don't miss it.
Cookie Store. The green awning means great eating.
I'm concerned about my cholesterol. Got a bike. Cutting back on junk food. But it's not all that easy. Fortunately, my wife Joy discovered a new spread called Take Control. Take Control is made from natural soybean extract. Studies suggest it helps to lower bad cholesterol up to 10%. That's why Take Control helps promote my healthy cholesterol levels. And it's delicious.
New Take Control, a weapon to help lower cholesterol.
Right now, see more trucks than an all-night diner during the GMC Summer Convoy. Pickups, SUVs, and family vans. 2 million tons of professional-grade trucks, designed better than they need to be. Like the GMC Sierra, the only half-ton pickup with standard 4-wheel anti-lock disc brakes on all models. Get up to $1,000 cash back on select 1999 Sierras. This is one convoy you don't want passing you by.
What makes Kraft Singles so good? Kids know it's the taste. They don't know that 2 out of every 3 kids don't get the recommended amount of calcium. But with Kraft Singles, they get a good source of calcium and the taste they love. Kraft Singles, magic every single time.
Lukewarm sun, a cool breeze, and showers of purple and gold tonight.
There's the pitch. Swing a bouncing ball to God. He has it. Close to Herbeck, and the Twins are baseball's world champions.
Where were you in the fall of '87? How about '91? I'm talking about the Twins in the World Series, of course. Or how about that cliffhanger of a season by the Vikings in the 1998-99 season? For the fans, sports is a universal language, a form of social glue that binds us together, if only temporarily, as a community. Sport is spectacle in the truest and best sense of the word. It makes for events that shape our lives. And WCCO has been an integral part of Minnesota's rich sports heritage. One of those who knows it best and who started here as a mere teenager out of St. Louis Park High School is Mark Rosen. So, let's go to the videotape.
The Twins are going to win the World Series.
The importance of sports to a community is pretty obvious. It's a sense of pride. I think people have community pride about their sports teams.
People identify with teams, with athletes. It's a reflection of themselves, and when they do well, everyone is happy. Everyone is feeling good about themselves.
We're down less than 30 seconds away from the start.
Throughout the years, I've discovered people are passionate about their sports and fussy about their sportscasters. It's a personal thing. You just can't give scores anymore. Viewers want more.
First, a look at the baseball scores in our American Association tonight. St. Paul leads Minneapolis 7-3.
Years ago, there were 3 people. One man did news for 15 minutes from 10 to 10:15. Somebody did weather for 3 minutes. Somebody did sports for about 10 minutes. And you signed off at 10:30. And you worked all alone. You gathered it, you wrote it, you did it.
How has it changed? My word. I'll never forget Joe Sullivan, our photo chief back then, years ago, saying, "You guys are not going to believe this. Someday, you're going to be going out there and doing live remotes, no matter where you go, whether it's Robbinsdale High School, whether it's Richfield, whether it's Anoka, Blaine, Stillwater. You're going to be doing live shots." You said, "Yeah, right, Joe."
That's exactly what we do with our live remotes. We cover the Timberwolves, the Vikings, Gophers, and around the world. This was the second Viking invasion of England. The first came hundreds of years ago. But those intruders didn't suffer from jet lag. You hold up those medals and show them off. They're belong to the United States. Oh, that's it from Sweden. Back to you.
Living in Belize, kind of like playing Tarzan for a few days.
And we've had a long relationship with the Twins.
My first assignment today in the inter-squad game is to pitch the first couple innings, and I haven't pitched in a long time, so I could use a little bit of help. And, well, it's worked for other pitchers before. But we'll see how we do. Play ball.
Play ball. I remember I was just a kid when they played ball at the old Met for the first time. I watched the report on Channel 4.
Standing room only at the new Metropolitan Stadium today for the season's opener, which saw Wichita drop the Millers 4-2. It was a great day for a ball game. Were you there?
Dave Moore was a great baseball fan. But my first mentor was Hal Scott. I was hired as an intern at WCCO when I was just 17. That's how a lot of us broke into the business.
Big Ten athletic directors meeting here in the Twin Cities have approved a rule which would require Saturday baseball rainouts of the Big Ten to be made up on Sunday the following day, weather permitting.
Hal Scott taught me more about life than anyone, other than my own father. I knew all the statistics, I knew all the batting averages, knew everything about sports that I thought I could possibly know at the age of 17 or 18, but man, did I get an education about life. And that was something that he was the reason I'm here.
Bullock tees it up, scores!
This kid is something else.
Of all the events WCCO Sports has covered, there was nothing quite like the high school hockey tournament. Our station raised local sports reporting to a new level, on the ice.
Rochester is really keeping that center zone here clear.
And off the ice.
Everyone has a dream. And for Michael Stansbury, that dream is to play for the Minnesota North Stars. The most fun event, I think, without question, was the state high school hockey tournament. People laugh thinking, well, it was a high school event. How could it be? You cover professional sports, everything else. It was. This entire station came together as a community and enjoyed every step of it.
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes!
WCCO was there when the nation came together at Lake Placid in the 1980 Winter Olympics. Just talking to Olympic coach Herb Brooks could leave one speechless.
Been to Washington, D.C., and now this after winning it. I really don't know what to ask you.
I don't know what to say.
Fritz was never at a loss for words with Herschel Walker. Just one of the dozens of specials over the years, from Vikings Tonight to Rosen Sports Sunday. And what's the future of sports broadcasting? Maybe one day you'll produce your own broadcast on your home computer. Until then, we're having a blast, and we hope you are too.
My daughter came running in from the background, and she was all excited. She thought I was going on a Rosie O'Donnell show.
So can you sign this, guys?
Can we do this like when the show is over?
No, I'm
We're
sorry.
doing this on the air right now, Amelia.
We're busy now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I can't believe all the years have gone by this quickly.
Thanks, Mark. You know, Rosie is the preeminent TV sports anchor, having spent an entire career, really the equivalent of 2 careers here at CCO. But since this is an anniversary show, we thought we would stroll down memory lane just a bit, just to show you how dapper a celebrity he used to be. Look at this. Oh my goodness, is that a classic or what? I mean, what was he thinking? I mean, who would ever want to look like that? Oh, wait a minute. No, that's not fair. Okay, that redefines geek, I understand. We'll be right back. Oh, man.
Right now, see more trucks than an all-night diner during the GMC Summer Convoy. Pickups, SUVs, and family vans. 2 million tons of professional-grade trucks designed better than they need to be. Like the GMC Jimmy, an SUV built with a backbone, a full-length steel frame, and a smooth, comfortable ride. Lease a '99 Jimmy for $299 a month. Call for lease details. This is one convoy you don't want passing you by.
Make some time for Dayton's 13-hour sale. Even if you can't take your time. Dayton's 13-hour sale. In step with life. Your life. Start Saturday, end Saturday.
another great day to be a PetSmart.com delivery professional. The whole PetSmart store delivered to your door. Unbelievable. Chewbone, Fluffy Mouse, dog food. Hi, Mrs. Wilson. Here's that squeaky toy you ordered for Jackie.
Thanks, Warren. See you again next week.
Yeah. Hey, Digger. Good to see you, buddy.
Delivery guy. What's going on?
Oh! PetSmart.com.
Spike, I think we're going online.
We'll see you there. PetSmart.com. A smarter way to shop for your pet.
In for the best deals all year on the few remaining 99 Sportages in stock.
Best is yet to come, and babe, won't that be fine?
Well, we get a chance to see Paul Douglas's knees. Now, it's cooled off just a little bit. He thought
That's
it was
almost
going.
as good as getting a blue ribbon,
That's
right?
right. He thought it was going to be a nice, warm summer day. It was up to the 80s earlier today, so he wore the shorts, but he might be regretting that tonight.
Paul Douglas,
or are those your
Samurai tailor. I'm not a tailor, but I play one on TV. All right, turn around. Very attractive. There we go. All right. Hang on one second.
That's a nice look.
I've had enough of this, Don. You know, night after night.
One leg.
These are grown men.
Hang on. All right, here we go.
Well, I guess it's true. We tend to give our weather people a lot of grief when they blow a forecast. They don't do it often. But I'm as guilty as anyone. Just ask Paul or Mike. But our wrath proves just how much we all really rely on forecast information, especially in Minnesota. While most of us need to know what the weather will be to plan our daily lives, the science behind it all can make your eyes glaze over. But that's the point. Forecasting has grown from its folklore roots to a highly complex field of science. And because of weather's importance to viewers, WCCO has always been on the front lines of forecasting. Our Alan Cox has the long-range outlook.
It's the never-ending story that touches everyone, every day.
There's not a lot going on in the weather. 90% of the time, it's the 10% of the time that the weather's serious.
I think, Minnesotans love having good weather, and they survive having bad weather, and then they brag a little bit about the survival.
When coverage began on Channel 4, weather sandwiched a bread commercial. Early on, announcer Bud Kraling was told to fill in on the Tasty Bread Weather Report.
Well, I didn't know anything about the weather and never did pick up much information over the next 40 years. But I had a lot of background in doing commercial work. It was a 5-minute weather program, and I probably spent about 3 minutes on the Tasty Bread commercial.
Bud kept the job, held it when it became the Shell Weather Tower. Viewers were supposed to imagine he was outside on high. Then came a real view outdoors, the weather window. Passers-by on 9th Street could see and be seen.
It was funny, we had some regulars during those times. Among them, one guy who showed up with his guitar every other day and would stand out there singing his heart out during the forecast.
The viewers never heard the troubadour. There was no microphone outside. And there wasn't a lot of time for Bill and Bud to ponder the forecast. The Weather Bureau supplied it. They had other duties like announcing station breaks.
That we hinge our weather forecast for. I thought of myself as kind of the next-door neighbor talking to the friends in the neighborhood.
The humidity is not quite so bad tonight, and so this push is a whole lot easier.
The number and size of weather maps and the weather factoids kept expanding. The station got radar.
According to our radar weather picture, we should at least have a sprinkle in our Twin Cities area.
Looking like an old World War II movie, it was military surplus. Every few years, the viewers were reminded that weather isn't just a spectator sport.
14 persons died as a result of the tornadoes. Another 500 were injured. Homes by the hundreds were demolished.
Were you injured from any of the debris falling?
Yes, I got hit with concrete right here on my head and right here on the side of my face.
When it wasn't life-threatening, weather could be a source of comic relief in the day's news. Bud had a long-standing partnership, usually as the straight man to Dave Moore.
In working with Dave, I really felt comfortable in talking about the weather.
that the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Dave was marvelous to work with because he's a real clown, had a wonderful sense of humor. Yeah, it didn't bother me, whatever Dave said.
The station tried another way to spice up the weather map.
This is 30 years old.
Nancy Nelson stood under this moon and walked across the weather map late night Saturdays.
And we went from mini skirts one week to elaborate evening gowns another time. And of course the boom camera, when I got to here, would not take a shot of me walking, but rather a shot of my leg and ankle. So the joke, of course, was they don't recognize the face, but the ankles are familiar.
Meteorologist Mike Fairborn has been watching a potentially dangerous storm system.
By the 70s, the station was ready to hire a professional meteorologist.
Dave, I guess, to bring bad news to people who have already been hit by bad news. We've gone from where we would draw our little weather maps by hand, you know, with blue and red pencils, to being able to print one out quickly off of a computer and be looking at it hour by hour, even minute by minute.
And if it looked bad enough, everyone got into the act. This was an afternoon in 1988 when funnel clouds were sighted. The station interrupted programs for hours and incurred the wrath of viewers and critics when no tornadoes touched down. The viewers weren't always so lucky.
My prayers was, God, just give me one more breath so I can get out. That's all. I thought I was going to die.
More often, the weather was an annoyance for commuters.
Ramps and side streets here are in very tough shape again, the same as they are in all the rest of the metro area.
Or a way to torture reporters.
One man who is not so fortunate is our Alan Cox, who is live, we trust, in Minneapolis.
Eventually, the station was ready to move the weathercaster into the weather.
When I came to CCO in '92, we went up to this flat-roofed building and thought, this is the place. We'll build a garden here. We'll spend a couple $1,000s, and we'll have this oasis in downtown Minneapolis.
It was pricier than that, but Rebecca could show viewers how to survive and thrive in the Minnesota climate when she wasn't experiencing it herself.
I was getting paid for something that I did anyway. My passion has always been to garden.
From where we were 22 years ago to where we are today is just a huge, huge, giant leap because we really are much more accurate than we used to be.
In the future, the weather may get more personal. Precise forecasts for specific neighborhoods delivered by television combined with the internet, even if the forecast still doesn't reach very far into the future.
I tell people anything beyond 5 to 7 days is voodoo. Use at your own risk. I think the real opportunities for improvement on the forecast side is the short-range forecast, the nowcast.
WCCO's weather station plans to offer a closer view of the sky above.
The weather is not flat or 2D, so now we have a tool that can display the weather in 3 dimensions and take people on sort of a space shuttle tour of the atmosphere over Minnesota and the nation. One more way to tell the story.
The story that never ends. I'm Alan Cox.
Have a nice day, Mr. Shelby.
Are you sure that's the right number?
When you really need the right number, dial 411 from US West. One more reason life's better here.
Dayton's 13-hour sale. In step with life. Your life. Start Saturday, end Saturday. Store. The green awning means great eating.
Considering a Camry or Accord? If you've got a family that's on the move, car for car, Regal by Buick has more power, more room, more standard safety features. It's $2,800 less than Camry XLE, $1,500 less than Accord EX. And look at these Minnesota State Fair offers. Lease Regal LS for $294 a month with nothing down, no security deposit, and only $294 due at lease signing. Or choose $1,500 cash back on Regal. See your Buick dealer now.
Hi, Jenny.
Hi, Louise. And what would you ladies like today?
What's he having? That looks really good.
Oh, that's one of our new melt sandwiches made with our zesty onion rye bread. There's our teriyaki chicken Swiss, Granny's meatloaf melt, or our New York deli melt, each for just $5.99. And you just can't beat Perkins pies. So, what do you think?
I think that sounds pretty good.
I think he looks pretty good.
Sorry, ladies, he's not on the menu. Like I say, there's always something new cooking at Perkins.
Something funny happens whenever I go shopping. I love it, but do you really need it? This would look great in the living room. Right now, Marshall's has beautiful decorative accents for every room. Look, you won't believe how much I save. Marshall's, brand names for less. Every day.
Miss a call? Help is on your line. Press *69 from US West. One more reason life's better here.
If you own a GM or Ford, a recall could be in your future. Why at 10? You know, a television station is a lot like an army. It runs on its stomach. Stories involving reporters, photographers, and food, for instance, are legendary. Those tend to be the moments we remember most. The humor, both scripted and unplanned. It keeps the long hours fun and interesting. Well, we found and we heard a few tales we thought were worth sharing with you. Hold on to your funny bone.
All things come to those who wait, but when they come, they're out of date.
Well, I remember one day I was luxuriating at home, and one of my few days off, I got a call from the manager. He said, "Gallus, you've got to get down here right away." And I said, "Well, why?" He said, "We have a commercial for you to do." I said, "Well, who's the announcer on duty?" He said, "Bud Kraling." He said, "And the commercial is about hair coloring, so we can't use them." So I got dressed and went down and did it.
Thus we open another Saturday night edition of the Bedtime News.
Oh, jeez. The Sealy Posturepedic mattress is made to make all your mornings beautiful. It awakens you more thoroughly rested, refreshed, and tension-free than any other mattress. One of the reasons why the Sealy Posturepedic is the best mattress is the DuraLife coil. It never relaxes its support, regardless of your weight. Even if you're a real fatty, you'll never find a coil like this in a Sealy Posturepedic. Of course, you shouldn't be too fat. Sealy's Posturepedic is the world's largest selling mattress of its kind. If you're too fat, you ought to see a doctor or diet. See a doctor, he'll tell you what to do. Remember, when you're shopping for a mattress, ask to see the Sealy Posturepedic. And get rid of some of that fat, you look awful. You shouldn't hit that thing so hard, Hank.
It's mystery picture time, so have your pencil and paper ready. We don't give prizes on this contest, but we do ask you to send a brief letter with the information that we require.
Ouch! Laurel and Hardy strike back.
Due to immature theme, the following program is not intended for viewing by older parents.
Now then, sing ho for the life of a bear. Sing ho for the life of a bear.
From its birth...
No!
Good evening. I'm Dave Moore.
Hi, Al Austin Moore.
"22-year-old Mary Hardwick of Niagara, New York, will recall February 1st, 1969 as the day she married Edward Larraberry, and thus became Mary Larraberry.
Oh, truly, you're a bed with class, on which to rest by wearing...
And thank you very much, Bruce Quatrain.
I wasn't done yet.
You were done. You're done for good. So for the rest of the scores, let's go to the old scoreboard. Yep, there's the old scoreboard. Next week on More on Sunday, the sensuous lunch, or don't eat with your mouth open. A revealing look at one of the fastest growing mealtime pastimes, from the more modest fashion shows such as this one to those immodest lingerie shows that are packing in the customers at over 100 bars and restaurants throughout Minnesota. We'll see what it's like for both the onlookers and the onlookees.
You know, dum-cha, dum-cha, dum-ta-dum-cha.
Right. Guy Lombardo.
The second dum-cha, I popped right out.
I was just coming to that. It seems that when when he got off the airplane at Kennedy Airfield, there was this young lady who, I think he can probably tell the story better than I. Which, of course, startled everyone. In the late 60s, television news saw the dawn of the team approach to newscasting. Among the participants, conviviality, idle banter, and forced humor were employed to assure the audience that despite the grim pallor of the day's news, there was still room for levity.
Boy, look at all that water.
Mother's Day, 1968, a tribute to all you mothers.
Yes, sir. Mother's Day has come a long way since it was established 63 years ago by the Hallmark Greeting Card Company. And though the company continued to exercise its creative holdings, in 1928 it moved its Mother's Day franchise to Atlanta, where ever since Mother's Day has been operated by an Eastern syndicate.
Do we like it? You ask, do we like it? Are you kidding?
I guess that's about it. I'd hold up a box of Wheaties and say, kids, what's your favorite breakfast? And they were supposed to all yell, Wheaties. And this kid with a loud voice would say, cream of wheat, you know, and kind of louse up the whole thing.
That's all, folks.
Right now, see more trucks than an all-night diner during the GMC Summer Convoy. Pickups, SUVs, and family vans. 2 million tons of professional-grade trucks designed better than they need to be. Like the GMC Sierra, the only half-ton pickup with standard four-wheel anti-lock disc brakes on all models. Get up to $1,000 cash back on select 1999 Sierras. This is one convoy you don't want passing you by.
Hi, I'm Evan. Try some bruschetta? It's great.
No, thanks. When I want good pizza, I go out.
I'll take you out.
Be gentle. Be gentle.
Hush up. You're making my ankles swell.
Have a nice day.
If you think you got to go out for great pizza, you'd never try bruschetta.
There, you're out. Bruschetta?
It's got a self-rising crust and fresh out of the pizza oven taste.
This is great.
Try bruschetta. It's better.
Bruschetta?
No, I go out for pizza.
I'm getting too old for this.
Kohl's anniversary sale is going on now, and we're celebrating with great savings throughout the store. Save on all denim for the family. Save on women's coordinates. Save on all kids' name brand and character playwear. Save on all dress and casual shoes for the family. Save on all kitchen electrics. And get bonus buys through Monday. Kohl's store-wide anniversary sale only happens once a year and is going on now. Don't miss it.
Got a nose for news?
Hey, when I need to know, I go straight to the source.
You mean cable TV?
Cable's my window to the world. I follow fast-breaking news on CNN, track money matters on CNBC, and C-SPAN helps me keep an eye on those elected officials.
What about the local scoop?
Hey, they don't beam down your local news from the satellite.
Gotta get it.
Get cable now while installation's only $14.95. To order, just call.
Cable TV.
Outside, its aggressive V6 engine gives you the power to run wild. Inside, it's as quiet as the open plains. Motor Week's best small SUV of the year, the V6 Grand Vitara. From Suzuki.
That's a Suzuki? I hope she got my good side.
Years is an awfully long time in television years. It is, in fact, a lifetime from its birth to this very moment. I've been around WCCO for 21 of those years. Doesn't seem possible. I was only 2 when the station went on the air, and I always wanted to work here. Lots of people in this business have said that, and they still say that. The reason is a standard of excellence for community service started by a couple of families who lived here who didn't care whether they made a cent off this new toy. They, of course, had made their fortunes elsewhere. But all they wanted to do was what was right, journalistically. It's an attractive notion, and it attracted the very best talent. And each succeeding generation of journalists lived off that legend and in its own way perpetuated it, and in the process became legends themselves. One of them was most important to me. Although Dave Moore passed away a year and a half ago, he still influences this newsroom, this station. He still influences me every day. And Dave was influenced by someone. We can only hope a new crop of journalists will be influenced by what we've tried to do here. The other most important part of these 50 years of work is the community we have served. How, our fellow reporters from around the country ask us, does WCCO television manage to hang on to the principles of journalism? Our answer is easy. It is what our community demands. Now, we can pat ourselves on the back all we want, but at the end of the day, when the cameras are unplugged and the lights are turned off, we know that if we ever achieved anything great, it was only because you, your parents and grandparents, would settle for nothing less. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Don Shelby for WCCO Television.
Authorized clearance just got better. Choose either $2,000 cash back or 09 plus 1250 cash back on ZX2 and Escort.
During clearance, I drove off in a new ZX2 and got a great deal. Clearance is the best time to buy.
We got a ton of cool features. Remote keyless entry, CD player.
And we got a great deal.
Don't miss 2,000 cash back or 09 plus 1250 cash back during the Ford authorized clearance at your Northland Ford store.